Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we got three little hover effects for you today, no coding involved at all, really easy to do and really eye-catching. First one's an image here. When I hover over, it's going to pop into a little call to action. They've got a little button there they can click on, read the text, etc. Take your mouse off, it's going to go back to the image again. Second one we're going to do, two little blurb modules here. When I hover over, it's going to grow, it's going to change color. Writing's going to go from dark to light. Take the mouse off, it's going to go back, same with this one right here. And the third little effect we got is just a little background effect for a section. If I roll over this section, we've got those little patterns coming into the background. If I take my mouse off, it's going to disappear back to how it was. All of these, like I say, really easy to do. No coding involved in this today at all. So let's get started. I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. And let's go down and I'll delete this row and we'll start from scratch. Green tab for a row. I'm going to hit the trash can. Let's add a new row. I had two columns in it originally. And in the first column, let's put a little call to action module. Obviously, put your title here, what you want your button to say right there. As you can see, or as you can't see because it's not there, there's no button. That's not going to show up until we put a link in for it. I'm going to leave the generic paragraph text in there. Obviously, put in what you need there. Just down below, we've got the link. As soon as we put a link in here, the buttons are going to show up. You can link the module itself if you want to, down below here. And always best practice, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab. That way your site's going to stay open. Great. Well, I'm going to put a background in here. Just put a blue. And just to make it stand out on the background, I'm going to give it the same border as that last one had. By going over to Design, Border, All Round, I'll make it 1 pixel. Going to make it blue in color. You couldn't see it against that blue there. But if I put a little bit of box shadow on the bottom there, all round, and make it blue, you'll see it gives it a bit of a glow in the background there. Fantastic. Great. Well, what we want to do, we want to have an image here initially, and then when we hover over, we want this to pop in. Couldn't be easier. If we go back into our row, the green tab, we're working on the first column here. If we go in there, background's always under content. Let's throw a little image in there. Background image, third one along. And I guess I'll use that same image as I used before. Now, of course, we can't see it because our call to action module is on top here. So let's save what we've got. Save the row changes. Go back into our little module here. Dark tab for the module. When this actually comes in, I'd like to see a hint of the image behind there. So let's fix that first. Remember we said background's always under content. There's the blue color background that we gave it. If we click on the field, we'll see a little variegated slider here. It's called opacity. The more you take it down, the more of the background you're going to start seeing through there. I want it to be something like that. I want them to be able to read the text and just get a hint of the image behind there. Fantastic. But of course, initially, I don't want to see anything at all other than the photo. Really easy to do. If we go over to our Design tab, we can roll down to Filters. If we roll down again, we've got one called Opacity. Same as our slider we did with the color there. The more we drag it down, the more we'll see. If I drag it down all the way, all you're going to see is the image. Our module's still there, but it's totally see-through. Now, common to all Divi modules, if you hover up over the dark writing, you'll see some little icons appear. If there's a little arrow, there is in this case, we can have completely different values. Desktop's when the mouse is not on it, just like it is now. Hover, funnily enough, is when the mouse is on it. When the mouse is on it, I want to bring it all the way back so they can read it, they can click on it. And we still got that little hint of the image behind there. Now, the default time that Divi takes to get from desktop state to hover state is 300 milliseconds. It's pretty quick. I like to slow these things down for a bit of grace. If you want to do that, still in the call to action, we can pop over to the advanced transitions. There's a default 300 mils. Let's take it up to about maybe 3/4 of a second, something like that. Don't want any delay. Want it to happen as soon as our mouse hits it. The speed curve I'm going to use, ease will work, but for my hover effects like this, I tend to use ease in, ease out. Let's save our changes now, and we'll check it out on the front end. Going to hit the little purple button, save draft, or publish if you're ready. We'll exit the visual builder. There's our little image right there. When I hover over it, it's going to take about 3/4 of a second for our CTA module fade in like that. Then can go down and click the button, take the mouse off. It's going to disappear back out. And that'll work fine on tablet and mobile too, but obviously they'll have to click on it. Our next one, another very easy one. We've got 2 blur modules. Hover on them, they're going to grow and change color. Like I say, things like this happen when people are mousing around your site. It's going to get their attention really quickly if they sort of roll over, something like this happens. And again, really easy to do. Let's re-enable the visual builder. This time we'll roll down. Let's get rid of this row also. Green tab for the row, remember. And we'll start from scratch. I'm going to put in a row with 2 columns. And obviously you can put in any structure you want. I'm going to use a little blurb module for this today. One of my favorite modules. We've done a whole video on just the blurb module. I'm going to leave everything just like it is. Title, content. I'm going to switch out my image for an icon though by going to image and icon under content there, hitting the little switch, throw in whatever icon you want. And there's an awful lot to choose from. If you want to check them out, you hit the little breakout box here. But it's best to have something in mind because there's a lot of scrolling. They've teamed up with Font Awesome for this. Or you can do a search for whatever you like. I'm going to leave mine on that one. Again, if you want to link this to somewhere, you can put a link in down here. You can have the title linked to one specific place and the whole module linked to somewhere else if you want to. I'll just put a link into the module. That way it'll turn into a hand icon indicating that something can be done when they hover over it. Same best practices apply. Not going to put any background. Well, let's put a white background in. You won't see any difference. I'm going to put a white background in. Let's go to our design now. Text. I'm just going to shoot that in the middle. And let's roll down a bit. I want to give it a bit of spacing all around, just so you can see what's going on. Let's put a bit of box shadow around it. Let's actually use this one. There's our box shadow. Want to give it a bit of space all around. So let's shut this one up. Spacing is just above there. I'm going to give it 30 pixels all around. Just put in the 30. It'll put in the pixels for you. Hit the chain. It'll do the opposite side. Then we'll do the same for left and right. Great. Let's just make that icon the color we've been using, which is the blue. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. If we roll down, we've got image icon width. Let's make it say 60 pixels. Great. Well, that works for me. And again, let's create this horror effect. Like I say, no coding involved. What we want to do is we want the background to change color. We want the text to change color to a light color. And we want to make this thing grow by about 10%. Again, all very easily done. Let's go to our content, to our background. Initially, we've got this white background. Again, we're going to roll over, hit the little arrow, go to the hover state. Now I'm going to make the background black. So you've got black when they hover over it, white when they don't. But of course, we can't read that writing very well, so we want that to change to white when they hover over it. To do that, we're going to go to our design, back to our text. Here where it says dark, you can hit the little arrow on hover. We're going to make it light. That's better. They can read everything nicely. And just to offset it, we thought it would be nice if it grew a little bit as well when they put their mouse on it. Just another little effect. We can do that very easily too. Let's close up text, still in design. If we roll down to the bottom, we've got transform. First one is scale, which will make it grow bigger or smaller. And again, we've got our little arrow up there. So let's put it on desktop. It should turn white again. On desktop, I want it to be normal size. When they hover over it, I want it to grow by about 10%. So if you make sure this chain is checked, and it will be by default, so it's blue like that, you can just type in your new value in one of these and it'll do both at the same time. So I'm putting in 110%. So now we've got that when the mouse is not on it, and it'll turn into this when the mouse is on it. Again, I'm going to slow it down slightly for a bit of grace over in advanced and transitions. Let's make it maybe half a second, 500 milliseconds. Again, I don't want any delay. I want it to happen as soon as the mouse hits it. And again, I'm going to put it on ease in, ease out. And once you've got one, you don't have to go through this again. You can just duplicate this module, change your text out, and it'll still have all those settings. I'll just show you. If I click on the module, we'll duplicate it, 2 little squares right there. We'll drag one across. And you'll find you've got both the same. Now, if you want to change the text and different heights in all of them, you can give them a fixed height over here in design and sizing. Make sure that they're all the same height. I've got the same text in mind, so it doesn't matter for this today. But you can put a fixed height in. And also for tablet and mobile, if I hover back over that, there's a little mobile phone icon. So you can adjust for tablet and adjust for mobile accordingly. But those are going to work for me. Let's test them out on the front end. Hit my little purple button again, save draft. We'll exit the Visual Builder. There's our first one we did right there. We roll down to these now. It's going to take half a second to roll in, grow, change color. Same with this one right here. And again, that's a really nice effect to have on your site. Now the third one we've done here, we've just got a few patterns rolling down the back of this section right here. When you take your mouse off, it's going to go back to how it was. And again, if you're rolling around, something like that happens, it's going to get your attention pretty quickly, which is what you want. And again, no coding involved, really easy to do. Let's re-enable the Visual Builder. And I'll actually do it on this section that we've got our little blurb modules in here. So let's go into the section this time, the blue tab. We're going to use dividers for this. Over in design, you'll find dividers. And you can put them on the top and the bottom of each of your sections here. So let's go to the top. We'll find a style that we like here. I think I just used that one before, but they've got quite a few to choose from. Let's use the blue color. Again, I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit by clicking on the color field, just dragging this down a little bit. That way, when the dividers cross over each other, you'll get a nice little blend going on. That's great. And the height, initially, I don't want to see it at all, so I'm going to put a 0 in there. Now, obviously, adjust to taste. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to get the hover state up. When they hover over it, I want it to be maybe 150% of the size of this row here. Or section, I should say. So I'm going to put 150. Let's put a pixel value in, so I'm going to back up and put the percent sign in. As you can see, it's gone right down. It's actually going into our little section below there. If you want that effect, that's fine. But I don't want to see anything that goes below our section here. So I'm going to hide what they call the overflow. To do that, in advanced visibility, there's horizontal and vertical overflow. We can switch both of these to hidden. And when we save this and are on the front end, you will not see that overflow. Anything that comes out of this section, you won't see. Sometimes in the builder, as you can see now, it'll still show it. Great. Well, let's do the bottom one and we'll have a merge over the top of each other. So back to design, back to our dividers. Let's click on the bottom one. And I'll do the opposite number. You can mix and match if you want to. Let's do that one for fun. This time I'm going to make it purple. Obviously choose whatever colors you want. I'm throwing these together quite quickly. Again, I'm going to take the opacity down. And again, we want to adjust the size. So initially, I want it to be 0. Then when they hover over it, hit the little arrow, get the hover up. I want it to be 150%. As you can see, that's rolled up to there. So it's going to go mouse on, what you see there, mouse off, what you see there. And again, we want to slow that transition down just a little bit, make it a little graceful, more graceful. Well, in fact, I'm going to slow it down a lot. Let's slow it down for 2 seconds. If it doesn't go as far as you want, you can type in whatever value you want here. 3 seconds would be 3000. I'm actually going to make it about a second, I think. No delay yet again. I want it to happen as soon as they put their mouse on here. And again, I'm going to use the ease in, ease out transition speed curve. Let's save the changes now. Save the page changes once more. And exit the Visual Builder. And if we roll down here, as soon as I put my mouse on our little section, you'll see those little sections fade in there. And as you can see, take the mouse off, they'll disappear. But there's nothing poking out of the section. It's just doing it all within the section there. And again, if something like that happens, it's going to get people's attention pretty quickly. And of course, we've still got our hover effects on these here. Take our mouse off, going to disappear. Go back up here. We've got our little fading call to action. So there you go, guys. There's 3 little fade-in effects. Really easy to do, as you can see. No coding involved whatsoever. And that's going to get people's attention pretty quickly. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you build something using these hover effects, throw your link down below. We'd love to check it out. And don't forget, if you've got any questions, pop them down below the video. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video just like this one. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.